Welcome to the very first episode of the Living in Glenview podcast. I'm your host, Vittoria Logli. After 25 years of raising 4 kids here, I've seen this community from every angle. As a mom, a neighbor, and a local realtor, I truly believe Glenview is the best place in Chicago's North Shore to call home. And I'm joined today by Evan Fitzgerald, who is instrumental in making this podcast happen and for nudging me for the last few years. I really appreciate your support.
I can be incredibly annoying. I knew if I kept nudging, we would get here.
Well, we're here, and I love that we're doing this together because, like me, you're a local realtor who is also raising your family here in Glenview.
Yeah, it's definitely the place, I think, if you're looking for a special community.
Evan, you really get the magic of the town like I do, and I always say it's like Disneyland for families. We have a special thank you to Deanna, the owner of the Social Loft, for allowing us to record our podcast here from the Glen location. So here's the thing. We all know the landmarks, the schools, the parks, and the ice cream shops, and the restaurants. Yeah. But I want to introduce you to the heart of it all. I want to share the stories of the neighbors behind our favorite local spots and the people making a real impact here in our own backyard.
Yeah, and that's really the best part of Glenview as well.
There's always a story you haven't heard yet. So we'll be sitting down with the people who make Glenview such a vibrant and special place to live. We're here to give you the inside scoop, asking the questions I know you're all curious about, and uncovering what makes this community so unique. I'm thrilled to finally share these conversations with you.
All right, so let's get started. All right, of course, on every podcast, we want to start with what's the buzz going on in Glenview. And if you've been here and you've been driving around, you really can't miss it. There's construction going on. There are things happening. We want to get into that. And we also want to get into the fact that, by the way, Glenview all of a sudden is the culinary capital of the North Shore.
It's about time.
It's almost like I woke up and there it was.
Yes.
It's amazing. We're going to get into that as well. But first, let's sort of start with, there are all these projects happening around Glenview. Walk us through what's going on.
Lots of bulldozers, lots of things coming down and going up, which is super exciting. Everyone's been asking us about the Scott Forsman site. Forsman was a publisher that moved from the city to Glenview, I want to say in the 60s. It's 44 acres, and they're developing 60 single-family homes on that lot. And from what I hear, they're almost sold out.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because when anybody who's been around here has driven across Lake, you can see that huge building. All of the construction walls are up now. I mean, clearly a lot is happening. And I think people were wondering for a long time what was going to happen with this site.
Yeah. And originally they had said that they were going to be, it was Jacobs Builder, which is a very, very well-known established builder here in the Northbrook, Glenview, Deerfield areas, built huge subdivisions. And that group is still in charge of it. And it was supposed to be like six single family homes that they were building. Between 800,000 and $1 million. Well, no longer. That has changed. Yeah. Do you want to give us a little color on that?
Well, yeah, because now they're selling just the lots.
For $1 million.
Well, right. The lots are ranging from, the mid, I think
it was 800s.
Yeah, some of them
upwards.
some of the smaller ones, because they do really range in size, and some of them are less than a quarter acre. They're smaller lots. Some of those were in the $450,000 range, but obviously, as you get more premier and larger, they go up and up.
And away from the busy street, right?
And the train.
Yeah.
And so the larger the lot, the better the location, the higher that is. And don't forget, you still have to build the house on top of it.
Right. So you're looking at, I'd really like to know if anybody got one for $450,000. So if you did, please let us know, because I have a feeling that maybe happened once. I don't know. So my educated guess is that they've gone for at least between $8 and $1 million just for the lot. And I think they did that because the cost of building has gone up and materials so much exponentially that it was almost impossible to be able to actually put a number around what it would cost to build and make a profit over the course of 2-3 years. And I thought that was a brilliant business move on their part, because they could have gotten stuck trying to sell $850,000 homes and actually it could have potentially cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars more.
Well, and let's keep in mind too, if you are looking to build new in Glenview, your options are fairly limited, right?
And you're paying a lot for land.
That's right. Most of the time, the land you're going to find has a structure already sitting on it. There's not a lot of land here. So
costs money to tear down.
Yeah, in this case, at least you were purchasing a lot that was cleared, that was ready to build. So for a lot of people,
I have the infrastructure.
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So
that's a big deal for
it is. It is a really big deal. The second one that we're seeing and hearing about is the Charlie Court development, which is on Willow and Fingston. They're duplexes. We were super excited about it for a hot minute for all of our buyer clients, and then.
Yeah, they're rentals. So it's but if you're looking for a rental, that's tough too. So I don't want to minimize that because
they're beautiful.
Yeah,
but as agents that have buyers coming out of the woodwork, I mean,
they're all
those would
asking
have
us
sold
about them. Like,
in a hot minute.
Are they going to have first floor primary bedrooms? And like, well, yes, but also they're rentals. So I'm sorry.
It would have been fabulous. And then lastly, we've got Signode, which for a hot minute, there was rumblings that they were going to put an Amazon fulfillment center. So that's on Westlake and Fingston, across from the high school and the hospital. And people went insane. They did not want these giant Amazon trucks. No way they were going to have that Amazon fulfillment center there. So my understanding is about 2 years ago, the village bought it back, and it now is part of our park district. And they're going to be developing all this extra green space.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Which we know is a super priority, you know, in
Glenview. Absolutely. I mean, what do we have, Evan? We've tried to count like
40 parks, I think.
Oh, 40 parks. I mean, incredible.
Like that.
2 outdoor water parks, and then the indoor water park, which is also getting a facelift at the park center.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So once you have driven around and seen all the construction, you're going to be hungry. And fortunately, there's so much. When we moved to Glenview, it's 6, 7 years ago now, whatever that was. And there was, look, there have always been good places in the North Shore to eat. There's always been good places in Glenview to eat.
And we
I
have
don't
the
want to
Glen.
minimize it.
I mean, the Glen sort of.
But in the last 18 months, there's been an explosion of amazing options. It's so exciting. I know everybody, that's all people want to talk about is like, has this opened up yet? Have you been here? Have you tried this?
Everyone's like, you know, on the naysayers Facebook groups that I read every so often, they're like, we can't support this kind of, all of these restaurants, and what happens if they're going to close? And here in the Glen, restaurants are closing all the time, but that's because the rent is crazy high here in the Glen, okay? And the spaces are probably way too big to support the type of profit that a restaurant would need to make in order to sustain and pay the rents. So downtown Glenview, we've got Jackman and Co, which is my new favorite place to go on Friday night for a delicious blue cheese martini. Which
I've
is
not tried that
favorite.
Yet.
It's fantastic. And then we have Zenzi Den, which is
coming.
Also part of Ballyhoo.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. That's a Japanese concept. And I love the fact that the investment is happening. You can see you mentioned it. They're Glenview people.
Yes, Ballyhoo, the restaurateurs are original OG Glenview family. I think they still live here, in fact.
And the investment is in downtown, saying we are not bringing in one, but 2 opportunities. They're sort of kitty corner from each other. And, we've been to almost all of their locations all over the North Shore.
Steak all the time.
Yeah, they're all great. But to be able to just go downtown and have these options, it's awesome. And I think it also is now people from other parts of the North Shore.
Finally, we get the Winnetka people coming to our side, right?
Come roll into town. Come visit. It's awesome. So no, I'm super excited about that. And there's 3 or 4 others, right?
Yeah, there's smoke barbecue. I'm vegetarian, so that doesn't excite me too much. But for those people that love barbecue, I very exciting. Oio Italian. You've been there. I haven't been there yet.
Pizza is outstanding. Yeah, the pizza. And try the, it's the zucchini chips. They stay crispy. I don't know how.
My mom used to make that.
Really good.
Zucchini flowers and zucchini chips. Delicious.
They're awesome. Yeah. And not fried zucchini, with like a spear.
Oh, my mom sort of fried them.
So it's fried, but they're super thin and they stay crispy like a chip. You got to try it. It's amazing. Yeah.
Sounds great. And then we have Hometown Coffee Bar. Every time we've gone, it's been completely packed.
Yeah.
And I just found out recently they have a sort of a mini party room or a room in which you can rent to have meetings or little mini gatherings. So I thought that was a fabulous concept as well. Coffee and meetings or gatherings, small gatherings.
And then Glenview House, which has a lot of history.
Oh my gosh. So Glenview House, Foxtail on the Lake in Des Plaines, which I think is fabulous. They took an old church on the Des Plaines Park District Lake and they converted it to an amazing restaurant called Foxtail on the Lake. Now, it feels a little sacrilege for me as being Catholic with all the stained glass. And I recently went with some friends. And if you didn't know, they have a speakeasy in the basement that you actually have to reserve because it's very limited capacity. And when you walk down, there's a sign that says sinners. So you do feel like a sinner when you're walking around. You're like, oh my God, am I supposed to be doing this at a church? But the new Glenview House. So they signed the charter to establish Glenview as a village at the Glenview House. It was called the Glen, Glen space View. So Glenview was Glen and View. And then at some point, we'll have to look that up. It was combined to Glenview. So they've renamed it to Foxtail at the Glenview House, which I think is fabulous. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, and it's just the total investment in downtown, right? Like there are so many reasons. We're going to talk to somebody who knows a lot about why you should come downtown in just a few minutes, but there are so many reasons to spend time downtown, which I think maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, people felt like there were.
When in the past we had some core establishments like the Glenview Grind Coffee House, which has always been super busy, and Blended, the smoothie place,
the smoothie bar,
the yoga place, but really not that much. And now it just gives people even more reason to come.
Yeah, it's a destination.
It is absolutely a destination. Now it's time to sit down with our first guest. If you haven't had the chance to meet her yet, we're going to be talking to Lindsey Dorfman, the Executive Director of the Glenview Public Library. Lindsey's been leading the library for over 5 years now, and she's been truly instrumental in transforming what the space means to this town. As a member of the Glenview Public Library Foundation Board, I have seen firsthand Lindsey's work in action. Under Lindsey's leadership, the library has gone from a place of just checking out books to a vibrant center for transformation and connection. Lindsey, I am so excited to have you as our first guest on our Living in Glenview podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
So excited.
Yeah.
So Lindsey, what brought you to Glenview? Was it your current position or were you familiar with Glenview previously?
Yes, it was my current position as Executive Director of the Glenview Public Library. And I had never heard of Glenview before an executive recruiter reached out to me.
Where did you live before?
I was in Michigan.
Okay.
So Grand Rapids area, and I was working in a large library system. I was I oversaw 20 branches in that library system.
Huge.
And so I was looking to make a change to become a library director, and I was working with an executive recruiter, and I told him that there were 3 things that I wanted. I wanted a service-focused library board, I wanted good schools, and I wanted to be within 20 minutes of a Costco and a Trader Joe. Like those are my 3 requirements.
In that order?
In that order.
Okay, good.
So he was working with the Glenview Public Library Board when they were looking for a new director, and he called me the next day after the meeting. He's like, I think you're really going to be a good fit for this position. You're going to love this library board. I think you should apply. And I'm so happy I did, because our library board's really incredible. They want to make sure that the library remains relevant, and it's changing with community, the changing needs of the community, and they're just really dedicated stewards of the very important institution. So I love working with them.
So I'm very curious to hear what your first impression was of Glenview and your family's first impression.
Yeah. So when we moved to Illinois from Michigan, we rented in Oak Park. So I never thought that I was going to live in Glenview. We have a lot of friends in Oak Park. That's where we lived before we moved to Michigan. So we were just, coming back to our friends. And I was in Glenview for about 6 months. And then I was like, this needs to be my community. I mean, people are wonderful here.
And you live downtown.
We live downtown.
Walking distance. It's a dream.
On Pine Street. I've got a nice 3-minute commute. So we absolutely love Glenview. And I think really what stands out is, one, the strong sense of community in Glenview. And I think one event where you can really see that at the library is at our volunteer fair. So we partner with the Glenview Chamber of Commerce every spring. We do a volunteer fair, and there's about 20 organizations that serve the community that come in, and they just share information about how to get involved in their organizations. And what's so cool is it is like a madhouse that day.
Right.
There are hundreds of people who come in who want to give back. Glenview has this incredible, strong sense of community.
What'd your son think?
He loves it. He's thriving here. He's got an incredible group of friends. They're super tight knit, and he's going into his freshman year at GBS.
Ooh,
so he'll be a
exciting.
freshman. And so this is that summer before high school.
Yeah.
And he's got a little bit of that independence. They can bike around, and he just is having a great time.
Right. I always say Glenview's like Disneyland for families.
Yes,
Truly.
it
It's
really
still
is.
like Pleasantville.
It is, yes.
Well, what's interesting too is if it's Disneyland, it's almost like the library is the castle in the middle in so many ways, right? Because like everything seems to, in so many ways, both like physically because of the building, which is
Yeah, where
beautiful,
it's
but
at,
just
right in
like
downtown.
community, everything kind of revolves in a lot of ways around it.
Yeah,
And
it
you would
really
know
is a
best.
community
Yeah,
hub.
you just came back from Disneyland. So
I did.
That's the-
I did.
love it.
Yeah.
The library is like Disneyland.
The library has gone through some incredible renovations lately, including a $200,000 renovation of the play space and youth services, which we just had the ribbon cutting ceremony there. What other great, amazing new initiatives is the library working on?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a second phase to that renovation, or what we call space improvement projects. And we just made our lobby much more inviting, and we put a self-service cafe in
from
there.
the
We're
Glenview
partnering with
Grind.
with the Glenview Grind, which is another amazing community business. And then we're adding 7 new study rooms up on the second floor.
That's so needed. My
Yes,
kids
so
during
needed.
finals were fighting for those spaces to study.
Yeah. Yeah, and you walk in during finals, and you can't find a seat in that library. But
I love
there's
that the high school kids are also
know.
using the library. I
know.
mean, of all the places they can
Yeah.
go or not go.
and they're really
Yeah.
focusing. They're not fooling around.
Right.
They're like heads down
Right.
studying. It's really incredible to see.
Yeah.
But then also a lot of other folks are using those study rooms as well. People are meeting clients there. They're taking meetings.
I recorded videos in the
all
in
kinds of
those
stuff.
rooms
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, so that's really great. And we're so incredibly thankful to the foundation for their help in raising
The
those
funds to
funds for
support all
that
these
new play space for families. And then the foundation also supports 2 of our most important programs, our Glenview Reads Together program, which is going on right now, where we encourage everybody in the community to read one book, and then we invite that author
And
here
I'm reading
to
it right now
Glenview.
because I'm hosting the luncheon.
Okay,
I'm
great.
sponsoring the luncheon.
For the 40-Year Kiss
Yeah, the
by
40-Year Kiss.
Nicholas Butler. So exciting.
I will admit this is the first fiction book that I'm actually reading and enjoying in probably 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I can't read fiction. I don't
That's
know what it is.
incredible.
I have this thing, and my daughter says to me, "Mom, you're reading fiction. What happened?" I go, "I don't know. It's it takes place in Wisconsin. It's easy to read. I'm
Yeah.
like actually enjoying
Oh,
myself."
good.
Yeah, very excited
I
to
love
meet
that.
him.
Good. Yeah. And then also the summer reading program.
Right.
So
Which
our-
Evan, your
Yeah,
kids
no, my
love.
kids are obsessed with it, and they always want to make sure that my daughter, not surprised. I've never met anybody that reads more than her, and maybe that's a challenge we
Love
should
it.
change.
No, that is a very good thing.
But my son, who is maybe less inclined sometimes, also gets super involved in that
get it. That's
program.
great.
So
Nice.
it's like it's great for our family. And one of the things that I've noticed, because I am surprised every time we go that I have to threaten to, ground the kids if they won't leave the library
At a certain time.
Right, I can't get them out of there, and it's well, no, but that sort of speaks to the philosophical plan that you guys have had about making it a place that people and especially kids want to spend time. Can you sort of talk about what how that has come about and what the priorities have been to make it that kind of inviting place?
Sure, that's great. And I'm glad that you're seeing that, because really being able to create community connections and having people come together and create this sense of belonging is something that the library has really intentionally been working on as part of our strategic plan. I think libraries have always been like that. We've always done those things, but we're trying to take that to the next level, because we know that there's a lot of disconnection now in
Yes, a lot of
our world and in
loneliness.
our society.
Yes.
People are focused on their devices.
right.
There's just a lot going on, and so the library is really focusing on creating that sense of community and that sense of belonging. We have a really cool program series called Meet Up at GPL, and it's more for
Yes, I
adults.
was going to ask you about
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
what was the precipice for launching that program? And there's Mahjong. There's all kinds of things that you can do now.
Yeah,
So you
we have
that?
speed friending. There's knitting clubs, and basically what it is it's programming that's intentionally designed to bring people together around similar interests, right?
Okay, that makes
so
sense.
they can socialize, learn, and socialize at the same time.
I've been sort of toying with the idea of joining the Mahjong because I want to learn.
It's all the
but
rage. Like we can't.
I know, but it's a little intimidating. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I have not. I have a lot of friends who are playing. They absolutely love it. I just don't have time in my life right now.
I know. I
But-
If you're gonna do it, you got to go all out.
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
It's like pickleball.
Can't go halfway
It's
with
like pickleball.
Mahjong.
I can't go halfway.
Yeah.
But we do have our library of things too. So
Right.
that's another thing that people
Love
aren't,
that.
a lot of people aren't aware of. So libraries aren't just books. We have
Library of things. You can check
Yes.
out projectors. You can check out any. It is incredible.
You can check out Mahjong sets.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So maybe I'll try it there. Low barrier of entry right there. I can check it out. I don't have to commit.
Yep.
I mean, maybe this is sort of my get off my lawn moment, but I just love the fact, especially going back to my kids, that they get so excited to have physical books in their hand, to not be on a device. And I don't know if that's maybe a generational thing. Maybe at their age, they're kind of been there, done that with the devices in a way that we weren't. But it really is really important to me, and as a parent. And I love that there are so many opportunities for them to be involved in the library and get those books in their hand and be excited about them.
Yeah, and that's really what we see. Like the kids, the young people, they're still reading those physical books. We do have ebooks and
Oh, my daughter's on the wait list of all of them.
Obsessed with Libby.
Yes, that people, but it's mostly adults who are checking those out. So we're seeing utilization of those digital materials increasing, but not amongst children. The vast majority of those checkouts are with adults.
Interesting.
And I think they're using it because of the convenience. Right. But kids still really love those physical books. Yes.
Can you speak to Libby a little bit?
Sure.
Because I know I have to say, my daughter Tessa is one of these people, our middle daughter, who is obsessed with the library. She just got a really cool new T-shirt from Etsy and cut the arms off, and it says, "The library is punk." I have to show you a picture. She's adorable. And one of her best friends that she's met at the library from frequenting the library for years as a young adult is Annie. Yeah. Annie is like,
she's a regular patron.
And
she's a
in her
staple at the
70s,
library.
and they're like best buddies. Okay, so I know Tessa's been frustrated, and why can't I just get this electronic book? Because in her mind and in a lot of people's minds, it just makes sense that if it's electronic, it should be available to everyone at all times in no wait. Yeah, but there's long wait lists, and people don't understand that. Can you explain kind of how that works?
You think so, right? Yes. So the library actually doesn't own any of our ebooks. We license them. We have to license them from the publisher.
From the publisher.
And the really frustrating thing is that the publishers make it very expensive for libraries to buy digital material.
More so than having it downloaded from Amazon?
Yes, absolutely. So you could buy an ebook for $12 from Amazon. It's going to cost the library in many cases much more than that, sometimes up to $60, $70 for an ebook. And on top of that, we don't get those licenses in perpetuity. It's not like buying a physical book that we can keep forever. No, it'll be a license for a year or it'll just disappear after 25 checkouts.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's got us kind of in a bind because again, that utilization continues to increase. As soon as people learn about Libby, they download the app, they see how convenient it is, they absolutely love it. Yeah. However, it's really cost prohibitive for us to build up these collections. But right now, there's a bill in the Illinois State House called the Digital Library Protection Act.
Oh, great.
And we are so lucky because two of our local representatives.
Laura Fine.
It's actually in the State House.
Oh, in the State House.
It's not in the House Senate, but it'll go there. And I'm sure Laura will support it.
Yes, absolutely.
But Jennifer Gong-Gershowitz and then Tracy Katz-Muhl.
Wonderful.
Tracy Katz-Muhl from Northbrook.
Yes.
She's actually sponsoring that. Yeah.
Oh, good. So that will hopefully make it easier and less costly for libraries to have these digital copies.
It'll require publishers to give libraries fair pricing. for digital materials.
crazy.
Yes.
Who knew? I had
Yes.
no idea.
So yeah, everybody who loves their ebooks, reach out to those representatives and thank them for
That's
that
wonderful.
support.
Well, and can you sort of explain why it's so important for the library to have an option like this for people? Because, you know, you could sort of think generically and say, well, why do you even need to do this, right? But it is important because I think it gives people more opportunity, right?
Sure.
And do all libraries have this program?
You know, most do, yes. And again, we're very lucky, and I think a lot of the libraries in this area are lucky to have such robust digital collections because we've got such great support from our communities. It's really hard for some of the smaller libraries and smaller communities in the state to keep these collections
These are in
going.
demand. I mean, as Evan was asking.
They're very much in demand, and there's a number of reasons. One is, you know, it just provides easier access, right? And it shows how libraries are evolving and responding to the way that
meeting people where they are.
Community is changing. Yeah, and then another thing, there's a lot of folks who can't get into the library. We don't think about that. There could be transportation issues, or they could have mobility issues. So this gives them access to the library.
Yeah, and it's free. It's affordable. I mean, you don't have to download, you know, all the books that you want to read and buy them on Amazon, or a subscription. I mean, it is free to the community. Yeah, so it's amazing.
Exactly.
One of the most interesting things that the Glenview Public Library offers that I don't know that other libraries offer is the Innovation Center. It is so cool and such a unique and special place. And I'd love for you to kind of tell our listeners more about that.
Sure. Our Innovation Center is our state-of-the-art makerspace. And so we have a lot of really cool equipment that helps people bring their creative vision, right, to life. So we have 3D printers. We have 5 of them. Those 3D printers are running from the time we open to the time we close. So people are coming in and creating these designs, sending those designs to our 3D printer, and they're printing them. We have
what kind of designs? I'm curious.
Like fidgets, and I mean
little statues.
Yeah, little statues. Anything under the sun. Sometimes people are making tools. That
that's cool. We should make
instead
a
of going out and buying them. Local businesses are using them sometimes to build things. So it's really incredible. We also have a laser cutter, so people can engrave different things. It's just really cool, all of the stuff that the Innovation Center has. But I think the most important thing and the most important asset to that space is our staff. So we have staff who are trained to help people walk through the software and bring their creations to life.
And when
so it's
is
really
it open?
cool.
Is it the same hours as the library?
It's mostly the same hours as the library. So it's pretty good to check the website before you come in.
And do you have to reserve a space?
It's the best thing to do, especially if you're just getting started, is to go online and set up a one-on-one appointment with one of our Innovation Center staff members. And so they'll teach you how to use whatever machine that you're interested in learning about. But then after that, you can just come in and work on the things. Yeah.
That's fabulous. So exciting. And now for the final question. Lindsey, what are you reading, and what book do you wish everybody had in their home here in Glenview?
Okay, first, what I'm reading. I'm reading a book called My Friends by Frederick Bachman, and it is just this incredible, heartfelt story about a young group of friends, and they are 14 years old, and they are going through the summer in their lives. And
kind of like what your son's doing.
Kind of like my son, so it kind of reminds me a little bit of him. These kids are going through some really hard things, and so it is really sad, but it's also heartfelt, and it's funny as well because they're just this tight-knit group of loyal friends. But yes, it does remind me a little bit of my son.
Resonate.
Yeah, it resonates. And then your second question was?
The second question was, if you could pick one book to have in everybody's home here in Glenview, what would it be?
So I think that one's hard for me. One, because I think reading is such an individual and personal experience.
Absolutely. Okay.
So I think maybe what I would recommend for every individual or every household is to reach out to one of our librarians or go on our website and fill out our book match form because our librarians can help everybody find the perfect book or the perfect material that's right for them. What are you reading?
All right. Okay. So I'm 12 years old up here. So everybody remember back in the 80s, remember when Batman came out, right? It was Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson, right? Big movie, huge thing. I was a kid. It was awesome. They made one more movie, then Michael Keaton went and did other stuff, Mr. Mom or something. I don't know, like what he did. Oh, Beetlejuice. I think that was before. Anyway, so they never made more of those. And so for those of us who are still 12 years old and been waiting for another one of these movies, they just came out with a book that continues that story. And I've been reading that, and then they just came out with a sequel, so I've been reading that, and my kids think I'm a weirdo, and I don't care. All right, V, what are you reading?
Okay, so I am reading a book. I'm part of a couple women's groups here in Glenview, and for the first time, we're actually going to do a book club and read a book. So it's Likeable Badass by Alison Fergale, and I will tell you, it has been incredible how it empowers women to be their authentic selves, not feel this imposter syndrome that we all unfortunately have to sometimes struggle with, and how to navigate what's been traditionally in business a man's world. And it is incredibly empowering and really giving women and having women learn to be okay with being a tough person, business person, and still being likable.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm part of that women's group. I just got invited. And so that same book is on my nightstand.
Perfect.
Yes.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm actually listening to that one on Libby. Lindsey, thank you so much for joining us today as our first guest of the Living in Glenview.
Thank you. I was honored. This is so much fun.
It was absolutely fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast, and thanks so much for joining us today. Also want to send gratitude to Deanna from the Social Law for letting us use her beautiful space to record the podcast. If you're looking for a flexible event space for birthday parties, baby showers, corporate meetings, please be sure to check it out. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.